Gayle Saunders here with Carlos Rodriguez, fourth and John, talking the NFL draft. How are you doing today, Carlos?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I know you're a draft head like myself, and this
Oh
is an
yeah.
addiction. This is a
Oh yeah.
365-day thing. This
Oh
is
yeah.
there's no day offs here when it comes to
hmm
the NFL draft. And anyone who's been following the prospects, this is kind of like a graduation period where you're seeing the prospects that you've loved and you liked and
Yup.
either you hated on. You're seeing them graduate and going off to the NFL is a beautiful thing for these prospects. But what we're doing tonight here is trying to get down to the top 10 prospects. Me and Carlos, we're going to share our top 10s with each other. And
Yup.
then we're going to try and merge the two,
Yeah.
forming the best top 10 targets for the Eagles to target at 25. Before we go into this, how are you feeling about going into the draft? Any concerns? Any things you
I
want to add?
I think it's a tricky spot to be in for the Eagles because you're either gonna have a giant run on O lineman right before you, or you're gonna have a big run of like D lineman right before you. So it's or you could even have some situation where a bunch of the guys you like in both situations, you get a bunch of O linemen coming off, and then a bunch of D linemen come off. So then you're stuck with, some skill players. So I think our lists will kind of reflect that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just excited to see if they actually make the pick at 25. I think we could see. I know everybody's like clamoring for a trade up. There's been a whole lot of trade up talk, like, oh, trying to get into the teens. I'm thinking it's going to be a trade down again. But if it's at 25, I think there'll be some good guys there. So I'm excited.
Like you, man, I think echoing some of your thoughts, we're kind of at the mercy of the board. Like
Yep.
in this talk of the historic defensive line group, it's almost like I just want a little taste, but I'm not sure our Eagles are going to get a taste. And if we do get a
Yep.
taste, we might have to take some discounts here, and we'll get into that later. But the wide receivers, this wide receiver talk, I understand that, I get that. In the last couple mock drafts that we've seen out there by some prominent guys, Daniel Jeremiah, Hollywood Brown, Peter
Yep.
King, Hollywood Brown. All those guys are pretty connected. Um,
Um, Matt Miller had Hollywood Brown in his recent, mock draft. So take that for what it's worth, grain of salt.
and I feel like that range is either there's definitely going to be some safeties there
Yep.
to your liking because I'm
Yeah.
not going to your list. Yes, I'm not going to your list yet, but I know you have some safety flavor on that top 10.
Oh, for sure.
So let's speak on it. I mean, we're here.
Let's go.
Carlos, dig into your top 10 here.
All right, I get first dibs at this, right? All right.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give my list. This is no like order. These are just like 10 names that I think could be in that range. Um, so mine goes Christian Wilkins, right, the defensive tackle out of Clemson, who I think there's a lot of people that were mocking him early on in that range. Now I've seen him either go kind of early or a little bit later, but I think that would be a solid add. Chris Lindstrom is another guy who's kind of moving. His range seems to be late first, early to mid second. I don't know, but I think he's solid. Everybody says from what I've heard, what I've gathered, following the guys who really are good at offensive linemen, that he's good in a zone scheme. So we run a lot of inside zones, so he'd probably fit in pretty well. Chauncey Gardner Johnson, already at my first safety. He's a safety where you can put him at slot corner, you can put him at in the box, you can put him up high, and he's gonna do pretty well at all three of those. So his versatility and his improvement, because he improved from 2017 2018, he improved a whole lot. His constant improvement and his ceiling could be a little bit higher than you would think. So I like him. I like Chauncey. He's my number one safety. And of course we have Hollywood Brown. He's another one. You know, he's. I mean, when you watch Hollywood Brown, when you watch the Sooners this past year, you saw him. He was flying by pretty much everybody, right? But he can also run some routes. He's got good footwork. He's got good hands. The size is a concern. He's 5'9", 160. So he's going to have to put on at least a little bit of weight.
Hey, man, 6 pounds. Give him 6 pounds, man. 166.
He's got to hopefully put that on and keep that speed.
Yeah.
I think another one that's next here is Jeffrey Simmons, who once again has been mocked a whole lot. I think Simmons is very talented defensive tackle. My worry, of course, is the injury. But I do think that if you take him in the first round, you get that fifth-year option. So you get 4 healthy seasons out of it. That could be something that the Eagles look at and go, okay, all right, instead of just 3 healthy seasons, if we take him in the second, we're getting a full 4. So next is Jerry Tillery. Now, this one for a lot of people kind of polarizing because he's kind of, when he makes splash plays, you really see it. Like his game that everybody talks about is Stanford. Made a whole lot of plays. I think he got like 3.5, 4.5 sacks or something wild like that, and just destroyed their offensive guard and center, all game long. And he's got that quick get off, those strong hands. He's good against the run. But sometimes, it looks like he's taking plays off, or who knows. He just kind of disappears a little bit, so that's the worry with him. But a talented guy. I mean, if you can get somebody that's going to light a fire under him, who knows? Next, more safeties. Nasir Adderley. I know a lot of people fell off on Adderley, but I think he has that range to be that center fielder, right? He can play cover 3, watching from hash to hash, moving pretty well. And you can even see him go from hash to sideline a few times in his North Dakota film. And he moves solid. He moves very fluid. And he's got enough versatility because I think his first 2 years or something, he played some corner. Mm-hmm. So he can, he's kind of versatile. Next, A.J. Brown. I think another receiver that, if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles met with, correct?
Correct.
So they got some meeting with him. So, he can play inside, outside, So I think where there's smoke, there's fire with that wide receiver situation. We've been hearing the rumors that, Nelly was on the trade block for quite some time. They might be looking to move off of him. Now they're looking at receivers. Daniel Jeremiah, a good, potentially a good friend of Howie Roseman, someone who knows Roseman, who knows Douglas, mocking a receiver. So I think there could be some smoke there. All right. My last 2, I think, are going to surprise some people. Now, Chase Winovich and Juan Thornhill. Now, here's why I'll say this. Eagles love D linemen, right? They want to get, as much pass rush as they can. And Chase Winovich, I think he gets underrated. He showed that he was a good athlete. He's got the hands. He has a little bit of bend, but, he wins mostly with his, I think he does that. What is it? That push-pull move that he does pretty well. He uses his hands really well. He's got a good plan. And so I think a lot of people mock him in the early part of round 2. But if you're the Eagles, you're sitting there and you go, well, he's the best pass rusher we want, and he's the guy. He might be the guy. Who knows? Now, Juan Thornhill, hear me out. What draft was it? 2016? Can you remember another CB, another corner or safety that went into the combine, ran a 4.40, did an 11 something crazy broad jump, did the 38 plus vert, and was from UConn? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Byron Jones.
Yes, exactly who I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
So Byron Jones, that profile, it makes sense. He was before the combine, right? Everybody was like, oh, he's probably a second-round pick. He came in, blew that thing up. Everybody said, oh, he's real. He's an athlete. There's not going to be a lot of people that are going to pass on a 4.4 speed, that whole athletic profile. And when listening to other people, the word is that they might be even looking at moving him to corner full-time.
Hmm.
moving him back to corner. So I think he goes in that range. And yeah, it's just an athletic profile that, you doesn't really fall out of the first round.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I knew exactly what you were talking about. You didn't even have to say UConn. I was like, this guy about to pull the Byron Jones card. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yep.
No, that was
So
that was interesting. I like the list. Those two, the Chase Winovich, that but I get it. Like the production,
yeah,
he was more productive than Rashawn Gary.
Yep.
That's interesting though. Like I'm not I've heard other people talk highly of Chase. Um,
Yeah. He's one of my favorite edges, so that's why I had to put him
all
in there, I
right,
guess.
let me hit you with my top 10 here, and it's not like more of a top 10.
Here.
It's like, I think like the guys that are going to be in range that could possibly be there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would love Ed Oliver to slide. That whole theory of him sliding, I still don't really believe that.
Same here.
So I don't have him there. Another guy, Montez Sweat. I feel like another guy that I don't think he's gonna slide in range.
Even with the medical stuff, that's not an athletic profile that teams just go like, "Oh yeah, no." You know what I mean?
I think someone's gonna take a chance on him. So I'm gonna start with Christian Wilkins. I think a guy who's you know super productive since his freshman year. I think he's got elite character. He's a guy that you put in your locker room. A little
Yeah.
old though, in terms of where you want your draft prospects. I feel like he won the academic Heisman. He's got his degree, got his master's. He did have that one incident where he did grope a player. That was super weird. Curtis Samuel, Ohio State. Like for everything that I was watching of Christian Wilkins, I was like, dude, I totally missed this right here. I was like, what is this about, bro? But
He has
anyway,
some interesting things. You see him when they threw him in the spring game and played him at like safety linebacker.
yeah, I mean, he's got that overall athleticism you like from a defensive player who plays across the front. Gives you that versatility. And, I mean, they got him playing running back,
Yep.
on goal line carries, catching balls on fake punts. He had a couple
Yep.
fake runs onto punts, and then he caught I think he caught a pass for a touchdown too.
I think
Um,
so.
but yeah, I think Christian Wilkins is a name that everyone's been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down here. One guy I didn't add before, but I'm gonna go with Jeffrey Simmons. I feel like in terms of talking about defensive tackles and range on a discount, I mean, to me, he's a top 10 talent if he's
Yeah.
healthy. He's the guy that I've been the highest on for since the draft, season started. Like I was like,
Right.
can we just like that? To me, when he got hurt, that hurt my soul. Um, and yes, I did the homework on his background in terms of looking at the situation that happened. And a lot of people don't talk about it. They just talk about the situation, but they don't go into he was defending his sister.
Yeah, that's what I was
Uh,
gonna say. So that's the whole situation, right? His
yeah,
sister and
yeah,
somebody got in a fight, argument, and he jumped in, right?
he jumped in and definitely,
Yeah.
it was definitely obviously a poor choice. And there was also a death in his family where I guess one of his there was a death in his family, which they were arguing about, and he ended up hitting, you know, defending his sister stepped in, but he's been a model student. With that being said, he's been a model student ever since that occurred. That happened when he was before he got to
Yeah.
Mississippi um, State. So I feel like the Eagles did meet with Jeffrey Simmons. They took him out to dinner. He didn't have an official visit, but I know they've been doing their homework because you know how the Eagles are. But I feel like Jeffrey Simmons next to Fletcher Cox would be insane, and we'd have to
Yep.
wait a year for that. And he's that good that I would actually think about drafting him with the 25th pick. Because I'm looking at the board, I'm like, who's the best player? The best, like I'm thinking future. Like, and sometimes these picks don't always mean immediate get on the field. It's about the future. So, with that being said, I'm going to move on to the future pick. Cody Ford, offensive lineman with guard, tackle versatility. Played,
Yeah.
he played some left guard. I mean, I think you got an opportunity with Brandon Brooks being out. You have an opportunity to get some players in there that could actually you could battle it out for a guard spot here. We have Suamalu. We have Matt Pryor. There's still some question marks there for me at the position. Um, Josh Jacobs, I'm adding him in there because
Have to.
he's part of the conversation. A lot of people love the idea of having a back with a 3-down skill set. It's a solid overall back for Alabama. Previously, we did a video on running backs, and he was both of our number one running backs.
Yep.
I do think there's value in the second round to third round for running backs. But I got to add him in there. Josh Jacobs, solid on the field, solid off the field. He's come from a rough upbringing. Just a humble dude, and just made his way from a three. He was a last minute 3-star prospect. Chose Alabama, but the dude was homeless, living in a truck
Crazy.
with his dad. I mean, like these are guys who went through some serious stuff. But moving on, Cleveland Farrell, another guy we forgot. Previously we talked on before we got on the video. We talked about some prospects. I forgot to mention Cleveland Farrell, a guy. I don't. He could go higher. He's a guy where he's been mocked all over the board.
That's what I was just about to say.
I don't know exactly where he's going and who is going to take him, but I feel like overall he gets that pressure. I'd like to see more sacks from him. Like he's almost there making some of these sacks. And pressure bust pipes. Brandon Graham has done a phenomenal job getting pressure on the quarterback, and that means something. I definitely love the tape of him against Jonah Williams. Definitely took him to the woodshed. He shows that power. I definitely think he's overall strong against the run. Gives you something in the pass. But he was super productive.
I like it.
Let me go with let's see, AJ Brown for the conversation. Wide receivers on the board. You're talking about a guy who's could give you some outside, more inside. Reminds me of like an Anquan Bolden with a little bit more speed. Anquan Bolden would rock the 4.7 ish, but he's got that grit. He's got that toughness. I feel like if the Eagles are looking for a big slot, they didn't re-up on Nelson Aguilar in terms of Alshon Jeffrey in the age and Deshaun Jackson in the age. Who's your next playmaker on the squad if Nelson Aguilar is not signed next year? It's a really sneaky need, and it's a real area of need in terms of getting a playmaker at the position. Young.
Yo, yeah, it's definitely a long-term need. I think we got into that conversation on Twitter a while ago that it was a longer term. That person's going to come in if they choose a wide receiver. It's not going to play a whole lot of snaps, but next year, as soon as next year, they could be getting all the slot reps.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
another guy sticking with the wide receiver group, Marquise Brown, a guy that he often gets. I mean, the first thing you bring up with Hollywood Brown is the size. Well,
I did it.
Coming from a football player was always the smallest on the field. That's the one thing people will always mention is your size. But if you've always played as a small football player, you're used to being the smallest guy on the field. Like the thing where he wins, getting vertical. This guy, 18.3 yards per catch, explosive plays, man. I mean, the guy, there's a when you watch him on tape, you definitely see the electricity when he turns it on. Like
Yep.
not when he's like he can make a subtle move, but there's a switch that he turns on where I'm not gonna like John Ross was like I wasn't fired up about John Ross. I thought he deserved
I
to go
was.
maybe in the I deserved that. I felt like he deserved to go in the first round for what he did on like he showed you know some breakaway speed and then he killed it in the combine. But I didn't expect him to go where the Bengals drafted him. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
Yeah.
but I think Marquise Brown. I think the one red flag is the Liz Frank injury. Um, you never know those injuries, the foot injuries. You know, will he come back healthy? I know he's running now and everything. You know, that could take some time to heal. So I mean,
Yeah.
being a light guy, you think about his body armor, but at the end of the day, the guy could separate, and has some nuance to his routes. Um, so in terms of getting a playmaker, you think about this team last year in the speed element of the wide receiver group. I mean, that's why we had Deshaun Jackson here, folks.
Yeah.
And a guy who's been, um, you know, I don't like to do comps as much, but I get it. He tracks the ball well. And another guy, Deshaun Jackson, who's here, tracks the ball well. So
Oh,
I
it's
could see,
similar.
I could see them being interested. Um, Chris Lindstrom, another guy. You talked about Chris Lindstrom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got some versatility. I feel like you could step in. It's not flashy when you take a guard at all
No.
in the first
No.
round of the draft, but thinking about the depth and the possibility of him stepping in and being a guy that could start for you. He's got the athleticism. Um, he definitely made a name for himself at the Senior Bowl. I think I'm not when you say Chris Lynch, I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, all right, yeah,
it's it's tough,
yeah.
man. It's tough to get jazzed
'Cause,
up about
yeah.
guards.
And the cool thing about Chris Lindstrom, he blocks from my one of my friends. Their son is AJ Dillon.
Oh,
Um, so sh-
that's dope.
so shout out to Chris Lindstrom for blocking for the homie.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon, he's gonna be a beast. But anyway, moving down the line here, you know, adding it to the conversation, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, a guy with versatility, um, you know, can play the slot. He's a versatile guy. How he has those Florida roots, probably has the whole full background story, everything you need to know about Chauncey. I know that thinking of Malcolm Jenkins, could this guy be fall in line and learn from one of the best? Could he be that third safety? There's going to be a mismatch. Uh, I mean, not mismatch, but a glutton of safeties with Sendejo and Chauncey Gard Johnson. But hey, could he be the nickel cornerback? Is what I'm saying. Is what
See,
I'm saying.
this is the conversation I had. I was having this argument because I think right now, as Chauncey stands, if you take him, he's got to play slot. He's got to play that slot corner. He was when you watch him on tape, he played there like 85% of the time this past year, and he played it good. He was shutting
Right.
dudes down. He had the range. So how could you not stick him in there?
Right.
Right?
So and if that happens, it's a good problem to have. Now think
But
about all
then you
those other
go like,
guys.
oh,
All
what am
those.
I going to do with Avante? What am I going to do with Sid? What am I going to do with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something's going to have to give. But I think with Chauncey, you go, okay, first year, you're the slot corner, and you're getting trained to either take over the free safety position or you're getting trained to take over Malcolm Jenkins' position.
Yeah.
And as soon as
And
one of those
cross
guys
train.
go, yep, as soon as one of those guys goes, you go, okay, Chauncey, you're now there, and slide in a new
But
nickel.
thinking about the future, I'd have to say you keep Malcolm Jenkins. Rodney McLeod is the guy out,
Yeah, it. That's
right?
probably how it's gonna roll.
So that's Yeah, I mean it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Moving
definitely.
forward, because
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna
keep it going.
revisit this.
'Cause
Uh,
I'll keep going.
let's see. I got him. I gotta add him to the conversation. Dexter Lawrence, a guy a lot of people have earlier on in the mock season were mocking Dexter Lawrence. More of a two down run stuffer. I feel like Dexter Lawrence, but he's a powerful dude. You
Yeah.
know, he did test positive for the PEDs there, and he missed the. How do you miss the national championship?
I don't
That's
know,
gotta
man.
suck though, right? But
Yo, yeah.
I feel like Dexter Lawrence, in the idea of him next to Fletcher Cox, you know, if you're talking about a powerful guy getting one on one
Yo,
looks on a guard,
yo.
um, he could collapse the pocket in theory.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to get the sack. He
No.
could collapse the pocket.
And he don't even have to play on third down because that's what you brought in Malik Jackson for.
True. And then if you want to
BG.
do that, when you do that NASCAR package, you could move in
Yep.
Brandon Graham.
Exactly.
Uh, so I mean, I think I just added him in the conversation because I'd love to get I wouldn't mind Dexter Lawrence in the second if you're just trying to add out
Yeah.
depth and a player who could give you something. You know, you'd be solid against the run on first and second down with Dexter Lawrence in there. I mean, he was freaky. Freaky ran a five flat 40
At what, like
at his
340?
size 340.
That's a
But
big boy.
what but what if Dexter Lawrence lost weight?
I mean, and that's the thing too. It's the what if you get him in an NFL training program. You know what I'm saying? You get him NFL
I mean,
training.
would he be a different player at 315?
I think we could see someone who's probably.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
this is just going through my brain right as we speak now. I mean,
Yeah, and it makes sense. This is the type of discussion though that the, scouts are having, that coaches are having when they look at these players. Like, oh, okay, what can I do with this guy? You know,
I think I don't know. I don't even know if that's 10. I think that's 10, isn't it?
I think you're close. I think you're good.
Oh, I think one more, and it's between Jerry Tillery. You mentioned Jerry Tillery.
I did.
I'm gonna mention Garrett Bradbury, a guy with
Yeah.
guard, center versatility.
Yeah.
A former tight end. Um, Tested pretty well at the combine. I think he was in the running a 5 flat around there. I think he showed that athleticism. He went up against some really top talented guys in this group, and you could watch him against the guys from Clemson and see how he did. He won some run matchups against the run versus Wilkins.
Yeah.
I think he got him on the ground a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. So I think thinking about like a Jason Kelsey was talking about hinting at retirement. You do have to think about the depth of that group. You're looking at Isaac Suomalu. You saw his snaps were kind of shaky. Is that the guy that you want playing center? We don't have Wisniewski, who also can play center. He's gone. So you do have to start thinking about somebody to groom.
Definitely.
So, and then Jerry Tillery, just to mention him real quick, I guess he tested, like the analytics crowd will like Jerry Tillery. So he tested well, and I think he was a solid spark guy. And then I echo the same. I was watching Jerry Tillery's games, and I was like, okay, it was inconsistent. But that Stanford game,
right,
like,
and that's the one everybody references.
Yo, if you saw that game, you're like, oh, like this dude is all over the map.
Yep.
And then I know a lot of people were saying like, is he married to the game of football? I don't know. Like, there's a couple analysts out there saying that those were the red flags on Tillery. Like, he's a well-traveled guy. He's a a worldly guy. He was very particular about where he went in terms of like if the colleges had enough to offer him as a person and like. But I
And
don't. It's ticky tack. I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly. To me, that's like, okay, that makes sense. He was gonna go there to go to school, and there was a lot
Educate.
more,
Yeah.
that he had to worry about. So
So I feel like if you're getting a player, if you're getting a player, I like people to have weird. Like I'm not gonna say weird. I like players to be themselves. So if that's who he
yeah,
is,
and I think the Eagles like that too because they got them. They brought in Chris Long, they brought in Michael Bennett, they brought in these guys who are, you know, even Malcolm Jenkins most recently. These guys that started doing a little bit more outside of just football, right?
yeah.
So I think they're willing to take on that as long as that person, when they come in the building, it's all about that work.
Yeah. All right.
So,
So if we're gonna get to it here. We locking down
treatment.
this top 10.
Yep.
I mean, can we let's agree on number one here.
Okay.
Like,
So I think the one that's definitely on there is Christian Wilkins.
okay, we're gonna write this down here.
Yeah.
Write
Because I
this
think
down.
you had him on your list, I had him on mine. So I I put a note by every single player that we had in common. So
Okay, number two.
who did you have?
Uh, It's interesting. Cause I don't know if Brian Burns is gonna fall.
No.
I didn't mention him.
Oh.
But I don't think he's gonna fall. Andre Dillard didn't mention him. So I don't think he's gonna fall. Or Juwan Taylor but Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah. I think we could pencil him in.
Um, I think he's a tremendous player if healthy. I think even if I had to wait for him, like the thought of Jeffrey Simmons next to Fletcher Cox for the next 3-4 years.
That's serious. That's a
Hold
problem.
on. Let me get up in the. Are you serious? Anyway, anyway, anyway. Uh, how you feeling about who do you think of that three?
I think we both kind of. What about Chauncey?
At three?
How you feeling, Chauncey?
At three, I don't, it might be a little rich. Uh, all right, let's talk about
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay, if Cody Ford is on the board and Chauncey's on the board, who are we going?
Me as in me, or me as in if I'm Howie or Joe, or Howie, yeah, Douglas.
Howie and Douglas.
They're
You got to
probably
listen.
going.
We're putting their brains on right now.
Okay, they're probably going Cody Ford because he can play left guard, he can play right guard, probably some right tackle, and maybe,
In,
maybe left tackle, maybe.
in the the immediate need,
Yeah,
I feel like,
he can step in, play right guard until Brooks comes back. Once
or left
Brooks,
guard or whatever.
yeah, I mean, my preference is to get someone in that left guard as soon as possible, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be upset at that.
And
But
then if they have to, like he did play right tackle. I mean, he could he play left tackle? I don't know.
yeah, he's an
Yeah.
big athletic guy. So okay, all right, I'll concede that one. I like Cody Ford. So yeah,
All right, let's go. Cody Ford. Number 4. Okay. You want to go? You want to go Chauncey?
I mean, I think he's up there. I think he's good enough to be in that top half of the consideration. So if you're okay with it, then yeah, let's do it.
CGJ.
Yeah, I don't even bother spelling it all on Twitter. It takes too long.
Um, Number 5. I don't know here, man. Like are we putting
What are you thinking?
are we putting Hollywood Brown here?
I mean, that was the next name that we had in common, and we spoke about it. There's a lot of smoke about it.
Because we got AJ Brown here too.
Yeah. Um.
Like when people talk about, oh, the sneaky needs here, like you know who do you have higher, who do you have rated higher? I'm like, it don't matter, man. Like, to me, like, I just need you to I need to just point out the players,
Yeah.
and whoever they feel like they're gonna feel is more important, a vertical threat or a rocked up slot receiver who over the middle can cause problems, move the chain.
Yeah.
So,
If
so what's more important?
this is hard, because if they hadn't signed or traded for Deshaun, I would have automatically said like, oh, Hollywood's probably a way bigger possibility, right? Because they got that similar skill set. But so now part of me is thinking, well, Deshaun Djax is 32. It's easier to have, if you have his replacement in house already, you just put a guy with a similar skill set there, ask him to do the same things, and it's almost like you never miss a beat. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. Damn, this is tough.
And to put it on record, I'm a huge fan of Debo Samuel. But am I going to
Uh-oh.
draft Steve? Am I going to draft Debo in the first? No, I have a second round grade on him. He's got some injury concerns, hamstring, broken ankle or something. He
Yeah.
got his first 2 seasons ended short with injuries. The hamstring issue, with like soft tissue injuries being a thing. So that's where he's in the second round. So in terms of like getting a slot receiver, Debo Samuel, a guy jack of all trades, special teams, I could wait in the second round. But in terms of us picking number 5 here over wide receivers, who do you got, Carlos?
Man, if you're making me pick, probably Hollywood,
Okay.
because that explosive element, is just something that's, it doesn't come around a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's like, we want some big slot receivers. We got Zach Ertz. So
Yeah, I just think,
now, I
it's-
mean, if you're feeling AJ Brown, I'm cool with conceding that too, because I like both players. I'm okay with putting AJ Brown before Hollywood.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Hollywood. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Hollywood. Hollywood.
See that?
I just feel like there's a vertical threat is a serious thing to add into your group. If you
Yeah,
had two of those, it's great.
that's just what I was about to say. You could put Deshaun Jackson and Hollywood on the field at the same time.
You know what the funny thing is? What is Mike Wallace doing?
Last tweet I read from him, somebody asked him what he's up to. He said just getting back into shape or something like that. So he's chilling.
We're going Hollywood Brown, and then 6 come back to AJ Brown.
Okay, cool with that.
Unless we're going,
No, let's roll with
I
it.
don't know, man. Are you feeling Garrett Bradbury? We don't think he's gonna fall that far. I don't feel like he's gonna fall that far, dude. Not to 25.
I've heard everything from, what is it, like 18 to 29 is his range, right? I've seen some mock drafts have him really early in the teens. I've seen some mock drafts with him around our pick. So I don't know. I mean, let's probably say no.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be in range.
So
I really feel like
I mean,
he's.
does that leave Chris Lindstrom there?
Uh, it's okay. We're at AJ Brown at 6.
Yep.
AJ Brown. Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We
So
didn't even. We didn't. You know, we didn't even. We. It's funny how we didn't even mention DK Metcalf.
uh,
I. I don't.
I
I don't.
have
I don't.
I have hot takes about him that I'm not gonna get into on here. Then it'll just
Okay.
become a whole
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, DJ Metcalf is a. He's a. I feel like he's a projection.
Yeah,
So you
that's
have to
just it.
feel like the lack of production.
He's a height, weight, speed guy. He's a
Right.
he's an athlete who's still
Um.
growing and learning how to become a polished receiver. So
I just
just
feel like AJ Brown is a consistent. He could be a volume
yeah,
guy. He could catch those bubbles. He could move the chain. He's rocked up, man. And I feel
yeah,
like while Metcalf gets all the attention for the explosive 40 and whatnot, I feel like there's guys that are chain movers, and I feel like I don't know, man. AJ Brown, he's been growing. I've been watching a lot of wide receivers the last week or
yeah.
so because I was getting wide receiver vibes. Were
Yep.
you getting those?
Oh yeah.
This this is
It's
this is pre the recent like mock drafts as of late. I was getting wide receiver vibes like last week.
well, like I told you, once they started saying like, oh, Nelly on the trade block, was he on the trade block? They might be looking to trade him. I kind of went, oh, okay, so wide receiver might still be on the table at 25 and in this draft period. So I've had to go and watch more wide receivers and yeah.
And then just in terms of looking at the board and seeing who's actually going to be on the board and available. Like I could see somebody like scooping up Adderley
Yeah.
or or who else? Um, Chauncey Gardner Johnson by like the Seahawks trying to bring get build their secondary up.
Yep.
So like that's why I felt like the wide receivers vibes lately. Um, another guy gets talked a lot about was Paris Campbell, a guy who's gadgety. And I think he's 4'3" guy, and I think
He's a
in the
projection to
second
me.
he's also a projection. Second to
Yeah.
third range. I mean, third round grade. I would like feel okay, like, but he's getting second round vibes to me. Like someone is gonna love the upside of him. I think he's better. Curtis Samuel went in the second round, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or is
And
it third?
personally, I'll drop a hot take on you real quick. Is I think Campbell's teammate is better than he is. I would take Campbell's teammate before I take him. I'd take Terry McLaurin all day
Oh, I was
before
about
him.
to say Terry. Yeah, I mean, he's got that special teams and
He can play special teams. He's got 4.3 speed. He
yeah,
can run some
he's a
route.
gunner,
He
right?
runs downfield routes. Yeah, he runs downfield routes. When you watch him run downfield routes, his cuts are clean and smooth, and his hands natural. As soon as they touch, it's soft. So there's not a lot of give to it. So, but anyways, don't want to.
Hot take
I
you
was gonna
over
fall.
here.
I was gonna fall down a rabbit hole if you didn't stop me. So,
All right, let's go. We're at 7 here.
yep.
Um,
So what are you thinking, Lindstrom?
I guess it's not sexy.
No.
It's not sexy.
Mm.
I'm sitting there looking at other players like, ooh, ooh, right. I guess we'll go Chris Lynch.
It's tough, man.
Oh, what about Nasir?
I mean, I don't know how you feel about Adderley. For me,
I think he's got
he's round one.
he's got some range on him. He's
Mm-hmm.
got the cornerback, safety versatility. I'm not like
Local.
I'm not like fired up about it,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with it. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I could because we're talking right here. We're talking Chris Lynchram, a guard. Uh,
Does it move the needle
Brad.
for you?
No, but the depth is it's cool for me, and I feel like I don't know if he's going to be all pro, but I think he's going to give you some production, and
Yeah,
he's a guy that you might not have to move out for the next couple of years.
yeah.
I mean, he could give you some solid O line play, and is that more important than adding a guy with some range on the back end? These are the hard discussions that have to happen here, and
Yep.
we're having.
And um, I think if we're thinking like Howie and Joe, Howie's been 100% adamant that they're going to continue with the philosophy of building through the trenches. So
Yeah.
to them, O line and D line are going to be valued a little bit more than, skill positions.
In theory, right here, in theory, if you feel me,
Yeah.
if you feel me here, if we go offensive line here, um, there's a glutton of safeties that could be had in the second round.
Yeah.
I mean, like if we're going Darnell Savage,
That's
like
one of my guys.
if he cracks the first round, I'm not sure, but you know,
There's been a lot of smoke about that too.
Yeah, recently, right?
Yeah.
A virtually unknown, according to Ian Rappaport. What are you talking
Yeah.
about, bruh? But I feel like that first second round pick, I would love to get him there. I don't know if he. I don't even know if he's gonna get there.
Yep.
And another guy we talked about, Juan Thornhill. I'm okay with in the second round. That'd be awesome.
I don't know if he's gonna get there.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. Remember, I said the athletic profile. I mean,
you said the first round here. You did.
Yeah. I mean, how many times does that athletic profile fall that far? You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of high, man. It's kind of.
I'm gonna keep throwing out the Byron Jones thing. Byron Jones went pretty high after he broke some records. So,
all right. Dexter Lawrence.
I like that one.
He above above Lindstrom? I mean, I was hating the mocks that had Dexter Lawrence there.
Oh yeah,
at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, same here.
But this is our eight deep.
Yeah.
No, I mean like 7 deep. That's just if I don't know, dude. I don't know about Lawrence. But I guess we're trying to make out this top 10 here.
Yeah, and I think he's solid. He's someone that's maybe at the first very rotational player, but like you said, if he sheds some weight, leans out a little bit, maybe he could turn into something more. So
5 flat at 340.
Yeah, that's a big man moving. That's explosive.
Imagine you got him in a NFL locker room. Yeah, I don't know why people aren't thinking about that.
Just looking at what he is now.
I mean, they brought him in for a visit too.
Yeah, there's probably some interest. So I wouldn't be upset if you penciled him in there, for sure.
All right.
So if you want to do it, let's do it.
Dexter Lawrence. We can move fast on these next ones.
Twitter's gonna explode when they see you wrote down Dexter Lawrence for that. You know that, right?
In the conversation. A 305-pound Dexter Lawrence shows up. Rocking a 4.740. What are you gonna say then? What are you gonna say then?
Yeah.
How you like me now? He might be a little sluggish. Might be sluggish at 340, but how you like me now when they get him in the weight room and he's at 315?
Man,
I don't know. That's what you got. That's the stuff you got to think about, man.
That's what coaches look at.
So we're going Chris Lindstrom here.
Yeah, go Chris Lindstrom right after. I like that.
Not sexy at all by any means.
I love your reaction to it, by the way. I can see you writing, just shaking your head. Damn, looks like
I love it
a little bit.
Yeah, I would love him in the second round. Like if I'm at if I'm being real here, if I'm at 20, 25 and these are my choices, I wouldn't mind moving back.
I
Okay?
think that's what's gonna happen.
So let's be clear. Let us be clear. Let us be
Yeah.
clear.
If
Uh,
these are the choices that are left, I think you move back and pick one of them at that spot and feel a little
and
bit
then
better about
scoop
it.
up a three. Like, why not scoop
Yeah.
up a three while you're at it?
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
have like what, three twos? No,
Two
we have a
two.
three, two
We have three
twos.
twos, a three, two fours, and a six.
We're, we're talking about move back a couple spots in the first.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Move back in this first still. Okay, so then
Like,
it's
unless we go to, yeah. If I'm at a draft party and they move back, I'll be tight. I'm gonna be honest. All right, we're at number 9 here.
okay.
Number 9.
What do you got?
Another play we really haven't mentioned it at all. Um, I don't really. Jonathan Abram, a guy. Like, when I first watched Jonathan Abram, folks, I was like, I could imagine the link watching this guy light people up and the link going nuts. I could see him just getting in someone's face, standing over a cowboy, just like, like, this dude hits people for no reason. Like, watch his. He's super active. He's also married, I believe. So he's on a. He's like, he just loves the game, and he's just like, am I gonna feel comfortable with him in space, covering the back end and feeling like okay about it? I don't know. Am I gonna feel comfortable with him up closer in the box, breaking somebody in half? Absolutely. Uh, we didn't even mention it in our top tens. So I'm
Nah.
just I'm just saying, if he's in the second round, I'd feel more comfortable. But I still don't, like, I'm looking for some more. If I'm looking at our safeties, I want some more range
Yeah.
on the back end a little
Definitely.
bit.
Yeah.
So I just had to get that out there for you Abram heads who were probably like, no one's mentioned Jonathan Abrams. Who
Not
said
gonna.
Kala? Yeah, yeah.
No.
Okay, let's go with got two more slots here, man. This is tough. I
Yep.
guess we have Jerry Tillery, who mentioned.
Yep.
Oh, dude, Cleveland Farrell.
You mentioned him. I like. Is it? It's Farrell or Furl, whichever way you pronounce it. Um, I
I
don't
think we
know if he
have to. Yeah,
falls that far. Far does he?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. I don't think he falls to 25.
Early on in the year, it was like he wasn't getting out of top 10. Then it became, oh, maybe he's just top 15.
All
Now
right.
I've seen some mocks that are like, oh,
For
he's
for,
in
for,
that.
for
Okay, go ahead.
argument's sake, he's not making it to 25,
All right, then we'll leave it at that.
right?
Yeah, probably.
I
Yeah.
I don't see him falling to 25.
Seahawks just traded Clark. They pick at 21. He's there. Makes too much sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. That made it better. That made it easy for me. I guess we're gonna have to go Jerry Tillery.
Yeah. A lot of people won't like that pick either, but it's one of those.
I mean, this is ninth on the roster here, folks. Ninth on
Yeah.
the roster. Like, we're in move back territory. Um, but I
I
think,
think we moved back territory after like 6. That's
if
moved back territory.
if we're closing it out here, I mean, I guess Jerry Tillery with the ninth. What do you feel about that? You feeling okay
Yeah,
with that?
that's good. Putting that in.
Jerry Tillery at number 9. Um, Still not crazy about that selection, but like I said, we're like 9 deep here.
Yeah.
I think at number 10, it's not saying that we want running back. Josh Jacobs at number 10.
Yeah,
We're
it's yeah.
we're thinking about we're thinking as this would be the most outside the box move for Howie Roseman.
Oh yeah, it would be. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
thinking about like Josh Jacobs, are they finally coming to terms? Well, how were they? Were they like 28th in rushing last year?
They were bad. Yeah,
So in
I don't
terms of
even
like,
know.
okay, like I'm thinking like out of left field move. Eagles bringing in Josh Jacobs solidifies their run game, area of weakness last year. They solidify their vertical threat, bringing in Deshaun Jackson. That calls for a. When you think about your offense,
Yep.
I mean, you have an explosive guy. He has the versatility. Josh Jacobs solidifies your run game.
Yeah.
Um, solidifies the hunger for a running back.
Yeah. Honestly, if
I'm
it
not
was that
excited
Jacobs
about it.
pick, I think like the the fan base would be split in half. You'd have those that are like, yeah, we finally got a running back round one. Then you'd have the other half who are like, oh, why'd you do this? We just traded for Josh Jacob. I mean, we just traded for Jordan Howard. What are you doing? All this running back by committee. He's not even going to get the touches. But, I mean, I think for the sake of this argument here, number 10 is fine.
I mean, because you're looking at what Byron Murphy, another
like
guy. Yeah, another guy who could be off the board with Seattle picking. They're trying to build up that no fly zone. What was there saying? No fly zone? Was that a ARF?
I think that was. I think theirs was just a Legion of Boom, and that's what they call it. So
yeah, Legion of Boom. I mean, he's from Washington.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're doing their homework on him.
I don't know if they'd. Okay, go ahead.
Other Greedy Williams. I don't know if he's on the board.
Jim Schwartz likes his corners to tackle.
Yeah. Then again, these guys weren't on our list.
Yeah.
So we got to stick to our list here. I'm assuming.
So I'm cool with putting down Jacobs. I'm cool with that.
I think that would be like another move. Obviously, me and you are both in the boat of waiting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely wait.
Let us be clear here.
Yeah.
We're in the idea of waiting. I feel like if Jacobs is a guy who solidifies your running back depth and gives you a player who ignites, and they feel like he's that guy, then I guess I would believe that they know more than I do.
Yeah.
And we this is for the running back crowd out there.
Yeah, you gotta throw them something.
We're not saying this is gonna happen, but we're giving you this little gift, and we're almost close to an hour anyway. Hour-long video here. But if you guys stayed with us, thank you. I mean, this was a talking of the minds, and I feel like this is what you need to do. I mean, this is how you work out these kinks. I think some of these picks that we had, I don't know if you agree, aren't obviously the picks that we would choose.
Oh no.
We're trying to get into the heads of Howie Roseman and Joe Douglas and kind of like see what they would do, and kind of in terms of thinking of the roster. Obviously, there's 6 more rounds, so players could be had, but I think it's interesting. Anything else you have to add? You wanted to add?
No, I think like this is gonna be that list right there with those names alone. Like that's realistic about who could be there, and it's gonna be exciting just to see how it all kind of unfolds. And I'm a big draft head, like we already said at the beginning of the show. So I'm super excited for rounds 2, 3, 4, 5. because that's where you get like, that's where you round out the roster right there. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that's where the real meat and potatoes of this draft, especially for us having 2 second round picks. I think in terms of the whole draft, Eagles have an opportunity to move up, move down, um, you know, gain more picks, maybe bring in another player. 2 4s could move you up into the third. 2 2s and a 1. You could draft a first round guy with with 2 2s. You could move back into the first round if you want to get back into the first round. See, that's something that would be insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
Imagine that, dude. I don't want to. I don't want to. But if there's a guy on the
Yeah,
board you love, you could go. You could essentially go back get two first round picks. That would be insane. But I like having that versatility when it comes to the draft.
yep.
You can move up, move down. But I think that's all for me. I think
Yeah. No,
I think we
I like
talked it
this
out.
little exercise, man. This little, exercise trying to figure everything out. It was fun. It was fun.
So, so the Eagles are going to pick who?
Hey, are you making me make a guess right now?
If you had to guess,
If I had a guess.
out of the list that we came up with.
Ooh, man. A part of me, who we didn't mention? I don't know what they would like if there would be any interest, but Dalton Reisner, the Kansas guy, because he could play
yep.
like almost all 5 positions. So there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
versatility in him.
Played some tackle too. He's a little bit shorter than you want outside, but I feel like he gives you that's some versatility. He's a guy I was hoping for in the second round,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling with teams needing offensive linemen, they always get drafted
Oh
high,
yeah. Yeah. They're gonna get pushed
especially
up.
especially a guy with you know versatility like Reisner. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. But
We did talk about Lindstrom.
yeah,
So are
if
we gonna
they're
have to
there,
redo?
I don't
So
know.
who you saying here? Who you saying here?
A part of me, this is maybe just me crossing my fingers and hoping he's there. I'm really hoping it's Christian Wilkins. If it's a pick at
Yeah,
25, I hope it's Christian Wilkins.
I hope it's
But
Wilkins.
but I can see a scenario where it's Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah,
So
and I'm agree. I'm not. We didn't plan this out here. I'm agreeing with you on that. Like I feel like I'm okay with drafting Jeffrey Simmons. I'm okay
yeah.
with it. He's
Um
that good of a player. He's that like the first time I saw Simmons, it was a wrap. It was done. I was like, yo, how do we move up to get him? What do
yeah.
we have to do? And I was like, and he had the off field issue. I'm like, okay, he could slide to us then. Okay, all right. And,
Yeah. I'm still worried about the injury, but I can see a scenario where he's the guy at 25.
okay, I'm feeling that. Eagle fans, what are you feeling? I know it's a long video, but obviously it's draft season. Draft dorks got to talk it out. That's
Yup.
we do what we do. Um, tell them where they can find you on Twitter.
You can come follow me on Twitter at Carlos Rod _02. And come just let me know what you think about some of my guys. If you want to know some of my rankings, I'll give that to you too.
All right. You can find me at Eagle Sessions on Twitter. And if you're going to the draft party, you should have a great time. A lot of folks from the Fourth and John crew will be down there. We're just trying to rep the Eagles, bring everybody together. We will be doing a draft. We're doing a draft prize here for anyone who's trying to go to the draft event the Eagles are having on Thursday. We're giving away a VIP access. You get to meet some players that are going to be there. You get to have drinks, food, the whole nine. It's a really good experience. I think you get to take a photo with the trophy, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think that whole setup's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
And a lot of those people paid great money to see that, but 2 free tickets. So it's going to be pretty awesome for the people that get that. But that's
dope.
all for us. We're Fourth and John, and we'll see you guys real soon.